Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting Thursday edition of Jake's Hot Takes. I am your host, the ever-glorious, the ever-beautiful Jake McVey, and I'm joined here by my guy, Matt. He's all right.
Yes.
How you doing today, Matt?
I'm doing great today. Had a nice day. Was in Buffalo over the weekend, but returned today, so we are back to talking NFL and NBA. So,
woo! Yeah. All right. So let's just dive right into it and talk about the Knicks against the Heat the other night. Not last night, the other night. 19-point comeback, overtime victory against the Heat. This one pretty much had everything that you could ask for.
Yeah, I like what I saw, and now the Knicks now win their 40th game of the season, while 20th having 20 losses. So they appeased the Phil Jackson title contenders rule.
Yeah, you're supposed to have
40 wins before you exceed 20 losses. So they just made that. So I guess you can consider the Knicks are officially title contenders.
Yes. We've been waiting for this.
This is continuing with their spell of recent games that have been really close, even though they've been winning. I still feel like it's kind of frustrating, though.
Honestly, I understand the frustration because we should never be in a situation where we need to come back from 19 in the first place. But if you ask me, I think that this was a phenomenal victory for the Knicks. I think it showed a lot of heart. I think it showed that they can get down in a game and still manage to come back. You know, they're not lead merchants. They can flip the lead a few times in a game and still be all right. And I think beyond that, I think there were a lot of performances that really did make this game what it was for this team. Although, let me just say, OG Anunoby
played great.
My heart belongs to you, OG Anunoby. This was just an unreal performance out of OG.
It was great. He had a fantastic night.
23, 9, and 5 with 2 steals and 3 blocks. He had just an absurd night. The kind of night where he was asked to guard several different players on the Heat's roster as the bench started getting rotating, and he took every single defensive responsibility in spades. That kind of play is the reason that you make a trade for a guy like OG Anunoby. It was just absurd.
Yeah, he definitely played well. Obviously, Jalen Brunson also played well. He ended the night with 31 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. Played very well. But I think a guy who really shot out in this victory, who was kind of pivotal, was Miles McBride.
Yes.
12 points. So for a role player like him, it's good for him to get that.
Yeah, and you've seen the uptrend with Deuce these last couple games. He's been seeing more minutes. He's been seeing more opportunities. He's been seeing more shots. Honestly, a little part of me wonders if this is kind of in response, Deuce's increase in minutes. It makes me wonder if this is kind of in response to the lackluster performances that Mikal Bridges has had over the past couple of games. I think McBride honestly fits in just fine at that 2-guard spot, and he's been doing his thing. He's a great energy guy. He keeps the team engaged, keeps the blood pumping. So I love what McBride did for that game. I think you're totally right.
Yeah, he played great.
I'm just going to give a quick shout out to a Heat player, because, I think it's nice to be nice sometimes. And even though we beat them, we can still acknowledge that the Heat had a pretty good game. Davion Mitchell was kind of giving JB the business, making him look like a bit of a chump on the defensive end. So, are there any guys that you want to shout out on the Heat?
I mean, obviously, Bam Adebayo, he had a good game. Tyler Herro, 22 points. That's pretty good, too. But it's just they gave up that lead in the fourth quarter, and that's just pretty bad. I think the Heat are really lacking from a lack of star power, especially after that Jimmy Butler trade.
Yeah, and another thing is I think Tyler Herro is taking up a little too much of their shot volume. 22 points is good, don't get me wrong, but on 8 for 24 shooting and 2 from 11 from behind the arc, are you kidding me? That's not the kind of shooting performance I would like to see on that kind of night.
Definitely not.
But I mean, that's just going to have to do for the Heat. This isn't a Heat show. What are we talking about?
Exactly.
Let's get back to the issue at hand. Karl Anthony Towns
He played decent.
had himself a good game, I think.
Yeah, a good game. OG Anunoby was more pivotal to the offense in this game, but Karl Anthony Towns still played his role. Had a good game. Played 40 minutes, so he was out there for most of the game, and he had a good impact on the court when he was there.
Yeah, the only thing was Towns you could definitely see the physicality mismatch between him and Adebayo. It definitely took OG a little bit on the help to, kind of keep Bam contained. And even then, Bam still had himself a really good night. Very efficient night out of Bam, I'll say. Shot 12 for 16, 0 for 2 behind the arc, ended the night with 30 points. But it just... we've had defensive concerns with Towns in the past, and this isn't really anything new. It's just that, we need Mitchell Robinson to kind of make a recovery so that we can have that big body, that big, brolic, beefy dude in the middle of the court, or not in the middle of the court, in the middle of the paint, standing right under the rim, ready to stuff anybody who tries to make a move on that. But, Mitchell Robinson had himself a pretty lackluster game. 2 points, 2 rebounds, 0 assists, 1 block. Just not really what you'd hope to see from him. On 13 minutes, too, honestly, I expected a lot more out of him, but I also understand that it is kind of an adjustment coming back to the team, and there's a lot of things that go into that. So.
I also think that Jalen Brunson should be the runaway favorite for clutch player of the year.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, he had 10 points in the fourth quarter of this game, 1 assist. He played great in the fourth quarter of this game, and he's the reason why they even won.
And he had that big 3-point shot in overtime that kind of didn't 100% seal the deal, but after he hit that shot, you were like, you know what? The deal's done.
Yeah, no, he's played great, and he's done that consistently throughout the season. Has brought the Knicks back into games that they should have lost. So he's so clutch for them, and he's continued to play great.
I think that anybody who says that Jalen Brunson isn't the clutch player of the year does not know ball. Simple as. You watch what he does, Jalen Brunson in the clutch, and I find my jaw on the floor. I'm like, how? How does he get this done? But... anyway, moving on from looking at the past to looking at the future, our next opponent, the LA Lakers. We're going to LA. We're facing off against the King, LeBron James, and his new squire, Luka Doncic. Matt, what do you think is going to be one of the key elements to this game for the Knicks?
Well, obviously, containing Luka, containing LeBron, that's going to be their biggest challenge. Honestly, one of the biggest offensive challenges they faced in a minute. I mean, it's not like the Heat really have the type of star power that that the Lakers have on offense.
Yeah, definitely.
So that is going to be their biggest struggle in this game, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the guard firepower on this team is kind of absurd. You got Luka and Gabe Vincent and Dalton Knecht, all very efficient shooting guys. They can shoot the ball. Luka's very skilled at passing. Knecht is a pretty big guy. He can get up there and rebound a little bit, do some of the dirty work. But I mean, I'm more worried about I'm less worried about Luka himself going off and scoring a bunch of points, because that's not really what Luka's been about in these last couple games with the Lakers. I am just concerned that the combination of Luka and LeBron will be able to facilitate the offense past what our team can handle. And what the Knicks can't handle is basically anything beyond the perimeter. When it comes to that perimeter defense, OG Anunoby is a phenomenal perimeter defender, and he showed that against the Heat. Josh Hart, who was, marketed to us as a phenomenal perimeter defender, has not really had the perimeter defense this season, but, we know what his defensive upside looks like. So I'm having faith that Hart will pull himself back together, because he's kind of flown, people are kind of throwing their pitchforks and their torches at Bridges, but I think Josh Hart has had a few glaring issues recently.
Well, on the Lakers side of things, Luka has really come into form recently for the Lakers. Last night against the Clippers, he put up 29 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds, which is pretty good. I think something that's also to look out is that a couple Lakers role players had kind of sneaky good games. Dalton Connect had 19 points and 4 rebounds, and Dorian Finney-Smith had 11 points for 4 rebounds. So those guys are definitely to look out for as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This Lakers team just has the ability to elevate a lot of its maybe less purely talented players.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just the LeBron effect, really. Playing with LeBron does just kind of default give you like 5, or not 5, I'll say like 3 points on your overall on 2K. It's just, that's the LeBron effect.
Yep. Well, this is also the biggest test for the Knicks we've seen in a minute. I mean, they played against a pretty good team in the Grizzlies a couple of games ago, but the last time they played a really good team like the Lakers was against the Celtics, and they got crushed, basically. Yeah. So we'll have to see how this goes for them.
Yeah, this will definitely be a big prove-it game for the
Without a doubt.
For the Knicks. I think there's an argument for the Lakers being one of the 3 best teams in the West right now.
Yeah, they're the second seed.
Cross-conference on the road right now. You know, they're the second. They're the second seed, but I think a lot of people aren't necessarily convinced on the Lakers yet. I am. I'm sold on them.
I think they've been great.
It's probably the Thunder and then either the Nuggets or the Lakers. It's kind of a toss-up in that situation. But point is, this is a huge prove-it game for the Knicks. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, and you got one of the best of all time across the court from you right now. Margin Beauchamp recently signed to the Knicks roster. I actually just saw the notification before we walked in. Honestly, I love the pickup. I gotta say, this guy, he averages bottom of the barrel, and I mean bottom of the barrel stuff. But he's a lanky guy, and he's kind of, people know him as a defender more than anything else. Hopefully, he'll be able to help with the perimeter defense, give OG and Hart a little help out on the line. So hopefully, that's what he'll occupy. I wouldn't expect to see him for the next, 2 weeks or so. He'll probably take some time to adjust and get ready for the team. But honestly, I kind of like this pickup. I think it's a nice need pick,
Yep.
Anything else you have about the Lakers before we move on?
I have nothing else to say about the Lakers. I just really hope that the Knicks can take a commanding lead in this and win this by a good margin.
Yeah.
Because we haven't seen that in a minute, and against a good team, that would just be great.
Yeah, that would be great. But all right, that's going to do it. When we get back, we are going to be talking about Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby, a tale of 2 seasons, a tale of 2 performances. So make sure you stick around for that. Jake's Hot Takes, WGNY. Also follow the Instagram, Jake's Hot Takes, WGNY on Instagram. Stay tuned.
Thinking about remodeling your kitchen or bath? Wayne's Way Wholesale Cabinets has a great selection of all wood cabinets in the styles and colors to make your remodeling dreams come to life. Go to wayneswaycabinets.com for more info. Wayne's Way Cabinets, 1829 South Road, Wappingers Falls. Call 845-280-0880. Stop by and talk to Wayne today. You'll be glad you did. CDS Auto and Truck Repair is your 5-star one-stop shop for all your vehicle's needs from A to Z, offering full vehicle diagnostics. Towing is available, and they now offer fleet service. CDS Auto and Truck Repair. Call 845-563-9987. That's 845-563-9987. CDS Auto and Truck Repair, 2917 Route 9W, New Windsor.
Herring Septic wants your crap. Herring Septic loves taking crap from everybody. Herring Septic, they really don't give a crap what other septic companies say because they know they're full of crap. Herring Septic has been taking crap from everybody for the past 50 years. So why not let them take your crap? We'll take your crap. Herring Septic does it all. From residential, commercial, pumping, installing, and they even rent porta potties for those of you who give a crap. Visit herringseptic.com. That's herringseptic.com if you give a crap.
The Roma Deli, 237 Myers Corners Road, Wappingers Falls, is your neighborhood family-owned and operated deli, offering breakfast, lunch, and catering options. The Roma Deli has brought a little piece of the Bronx to Wappingers, including fresh-made sandwiches, Italian specialties, and desserts, all prepared and cooked in-house with authentic Italian ingredients. Their large menu provides lots of options to personalize your order to your taste. Vegan and vegetarian options available. The Roma Deli, offering catering that is perfect for any party or business function. Go to romadeli1.com or call 845-297-1200.
Michael's Appliances presents Ask Andy, the appliance expert. Andy, we've been talking about suds left over in the wash. What else should we know?
Soap companies do a great job of taking a wild guess at it, and they do a better job at marketing their product to make money. That's what they're doing. They'll tell you that liquids are better than powders. Liquids are much cheaper for them to produce and ship because they can ship it concentrated, cut it with water at the final mile before they deliver it to the store. And it almost guarantees that you're going to over-soap. Most people don't realize this. It's real simple. Clean doesn't smell. If you put detergent in your washing machine and you wash your clothes, and when you're done and you pull them out of your washer, and you take a handful of that clothing and put it up to your nose and take a sniff, if it smells boutique fresh or whatever lavender scent that they put in the detergent, it's because there's still detergent in your clothing.
Shop with the experts. Nobody knows appliances like Michael's Appliance Center, 585 East Main Street, Middletown. Online at michaelsappliance.com.
Welcome back, sports fans. It's Jake's Hot Takes. And Matt, did you hear that Jason Peters retired today?
Yes, I did.
6-time All-Pro, 9-time Pro Bowl,
sad,
1-time Super Bowl champion.
I was also surprised to learn he was even still in the league.
Yeah, he was kind of just scamming people for whatever contracts he could get towards the end there. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about. We're here to talk about the Knicks. And I ask you the question, is it time to be concerned about Mikal Bridges?
Mm-hmm.
Because here's my thought process on this guy, right? Brought him in. You traded a lot for this guy. 5 first-round picks is a lot. The Knicks have the least amount of picks in the NBA right now because of this Mikal Bridges trade. So this is, a process that we've invested a huge amount of our resources into.
Yep.
And if you ask me, recently, Bridges just has not been getting it done.
I have to agree, but I also think that Bridges is kind of being held up to a solid standard because of the draft picks that Knicks gave up for him this offseason.
Right.
And you also have to consider he's due for a contract soon. So it's likely that the Knicks are definitely going to pay him and try to see this out. But I guess the Knicks were hoping that he would bring some really big defensive force to this team, and he hasn't brought what they thought he would be worth in this trade.
And not only has he had those defensive issues, he's had offensive issues too. Mm-hmm. Sure, he's had a couple games where he caught fire, like against Philadelphia a couple nights ago, and he was a consistent shooter in both the Boston and the Cleveland loss, but he's not generating the offense like I think we were expecting him to, And it makes me wonder if Bridges just isn't as good of a fit for this team as he was initially marketed as. I mean, guys like Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, they need to see the ball a lot in order to be really effective players. And I would say that Mikal Bridges, as an offensive player, is a guy who needs the ball in his hands a lot. He doesn't really generate a lot off of rebounds. He generates some of his offense off of like steals and turnovers and things of that nature. But, he can't give you that much without taking a lot from the team in return.
I think it has been good, though, that Mikal has been available for all 60 of the Knicks games so far, which is kind of what he was known for coming into this season, is that he's a really healthy guy, and knock on wood, he'll stay healthy. So I'm definitely not upset with him staying around for a while and the Knicks trying to figure out a fit for him in a defensive scheme, because he did have some great defensive years, like the 2021 season in Phoenix, where he finished second in DPOY votes. So I think it's definitely worth him sticking around, and the Knicks should pay him. But right now, it's really hard to evaluate the trade as a whole because A, it hasn't even been a full season, and B, they gave up so much to get him that we have to see how the next draft classes turn out too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're right. This draft class could come and go, and there could be, only 2 or 3 guys that really would make a difference to any team. And, the Knicks didn't really miss out on anything because that wouldn't have been one of their picks anyway. But Bridges doesn't... I don't know if it's just it might be a coaching problem at this point. I'm just cycling through options in my head. It could potentially be that Thibodeau is using Bridges wrong. And if that's the case, then I feel really sorry for the guy because he's catching a lot of flack from Knicks fans on the internet right now. And realistically, I could see Mikal Bridges falling into a more strictly defensive role, especially with the shooting performances that he's been putting on these last couple weeks. I wouldn't blame Brunson for thinking twice before passing him the ball. I wouldn't blame Thibodeau for thinking twice before he, schemes up a play for Mikal to get his hands on the ball.
I mean, you go from a couple years ago in Brooklyn when he was averaging 26 points a game to this year where he's averaging 17. That's a huge difference, and there has to be a reason for that. Yeah. Whether it's Bridges' fault or not, it just has to be figured out because they've sunk so many assets into Bridges that he just has to work out, and they have to pay him on top of that. So it's just, right now, in my opinion, it's not really looking like a good trade. But we will just have to see how it goes because nothing is final.
Yeah, and that's just the situation. You take a look at like his time in Brooklyn, where he was averaging 26 and then he was averaging 19, and that immediately screams like high volume scoring guy. But then you realize that those Nets teams did not really have anybody that Bridges had to compete with. It was very easy for Bridges to just get his hands on the ball and go do something offensively. Yeah. Because nobody else on that team was really generating a lot of offense.
And he was the clear-cut number 1 in Brooklyn when he was there.
Exactly. I don't think Bridges is even the 4th. I think Bridges is the 4th best guy on this team right now, and that's only because Josh Hart has, kind of regressed a little bit in some of the things that he was known for. I would take Brunson, Cat, and OG Anunoby over Mikal Bridges right now for who is the better player on this Knicks team.
I agree. I would also do that. But I just think that what the Knicks have brought Mikal in to do, he hasn't really played that role to the minimum that they've expected him to, and that's definitely disappointing. Yeah, so it's definitely understandable why a lot of Knicks fans are upset about this trade so far.
Definitely. So we're going to pivot real quick to talking about the coin flip, the other side of this Mikal Bridges discussion, which is, wow, OG Anunoby is something else, isn't he?
Yeah, he had a fantastic game against the Heat.
I don't know about you. I want this to be an intelligent discussion, but I am going to be gushing about OG Anunoby any chance I get because I was really missing him when he was dealing with that injury.
Yeah.
And seeing him come back, and when he came back, I believe his debut game after the injury was against the 76ers.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a decent game, kind of, you could tell he was finding his flow. And then that Grizzlies game hit. And oh my goodness, there were several points in time. We didn't watch this Grizzlies game together, but there were several times in this game where I was on my feet in my bedroom cheering. I was laying in bed watching it on my laptop, and when OG hit that buzzer beater, we all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
When oh my goodness, I just thought to myself, wow, we really got one. We got one of those guys that is just going to get it done. Pure hustle, pure just like he against Miami. I said it earlier, 23, 9, and 5 with 3 blocks and 2 steals. Can you ask for anything more?
Yeah. I mean, the thing about OG this season is that he's been available for the Knicks for almost every single game.
Yeah.
He's averaging 16 points for the season, which is the second highest of his career. And he's averaging 36.4 minutes per game, which is also the highest of his career. So he is playing the best basketball of his career right now, offensively. But I would like to see him take a step up on defense in the perimeter.
Yeah, I would say that OG is probably our best perimeter defender right now, and granted, he did do some good things on the perimeter against Miami, but definitely he hasn't been to that level that we were anticipating. Him and Hart were supposed to be like a 1-2 punch on the perimeter of guys that can defend really well. And even though OG hasn't been one of the best perimeter defenders, I mean, he's still kind of there. He can guard a lot of guys, especially for a power forward. He's surprisingly athletic and can guard a lot of guys. I mean, I know the power forward is a lot different than it was a couple of years ago. It's basically just a small forward, but 2 inches taller at this point when it comes to the athleticism. But
yep,
OG is just next level for this team. And the thing that makes him so good is that he does not need a lot of looks in order to generate offense.
Yeah.
All you got to do is pass him the ball every couple possessions, and he's going to make great things happen. Very efficient player. He makes the most of it every time the ball is in his hands. He generates his own offense off of rebounds. He generates his own offense off of fast breaks. He generates his own offense off of steals. Like, this guy is kind of the picture of slotting well into an offense with 2 very high-volume scorers like Cat and Brunson. 3 very high-volume scorers if we include Mikal Bridges. And the fact that he can still get so many buckets and drop such impressive stat lines when he is definitely not the first option to be passed the ball on any given possession, it just makes me so happy. It's, OG Anunoby, you are probably one of my favorite players on this Knicks roster.
And he hasn't really disappointed, even though this past offseason he signed a 5-year, $212 million contract with the Knicks. And he's playing the best basketball of his career, it seems, right now. I just have one thing to tell you about OG Anunoby. Did you know he's British?
I did. I actually did know he was British. I already had my reckoning with that. I took a cold shower, looked at myself in the mirror for a while, and I said, am I really about to go on the radio and say that my favorite player on this Knicks roster is a British person? And the answer is yes. I don't care. We're talking ball, baby.
Yep.
So anyway, last thing I'm going to say about OG Anunoby is, as you mentioned a little bit ago, the consistency. The fact that he's only had one injury, playing the most minutes of his career, getting the most buckets, doing the most. I'm so glad we rescued this guy from Toronto. He's just been perfect.
Yep.
Perfect fit on this team, and I'm excited to see how this season wraps up for OG.
I hope so. I'm excited for that too.
Anyway, when we get back, we're going to be talking about the Lakers and the Mavericks. We're talking about them again, ladies and gentlemen. And then we got a grab bag for you all. Get excited. It is the second ever Jake's Hot Takes grab bag. We're going to be doing a little compilation of a bunch of different topics. We're going to be talking a little basketball, be talking a little football, so make sure you stick around. And then after that, we're doing a mock draft of the top 5 picks in this year's NFL draft. So you're definitely going to want to hear it. Make sure you guys stay around. This is Jake's Hot Takes, WGNY 94.5, 1220 News, Talk Sports. We'll be right back.
Thinking about remodeling your kitchen or bath? Wayne's Way Wholesale Cabinets has a great selection of all wood cabinets in the styles and colors to make your remodeling dreams come to life. Go to wayneswaycabinets.com for more info. Wayne's Way Cabinets, 1829 South Road, Wappingers Falls. Call 845-280-0880. Stop by and talk to Wayne today. You'll be glad you did. CDS Auto and Truck Repair is your 5-star one-stop shop for all your vehicle's needs from A to Z, offering full vehicle diagnostics. Towing is available, and they now offer fleet service. CDS Auto and Truck Repair. Call 845-563-9987. That's 845-563-9987. CDS Auto and Truck Repair, 2917 Route 9W, New Windsor.
Herring Septic wants your crap. Herring Septic loves taking crap from everybody. Herring Septic, they really don't give a crap what other septic companies say because they know they're full of crap. Herring Septic has been taking crap from everybody for the past 50 years. So why not let them take your crap? We'll take your crap. Herring Septic does it all. From residential, commercial, pumping, installing, and they even rent porta potties for those of you who give a crap. Visit herringseptic.com. That's herringseptic.com if you give a crap.
The Roma Deli, 237 Myers Corners Road, Wappingers Falls, is your neighborhood family-owned and operated deli, offering breakfast, lunch, and catering options. The Roma Deli has brought a little piece of the Bronx to Wappingers, including fresh-made sandwiches, Italian specialties, and desserts, all prepared and cooked in-house with authentic Italian ingredients. Their large menu provides lots of options to personalize your order to your taste. Vegan and vegetarian options available. The Roma Deli, offering catering that is perfect for any party or business function. Go to romadeli1.com or call 845-297-1200.
Michael's Appliances presents Ask Andy, the appliance expert. Andy, we've been talking about suds left over in the wash. What else should we know?
Soap companies do a great job of taking a wild guess at it, and they do a better job at marketing their product to make money. That's what they're doing. They'll tell you that liquids are better than powders. Liquids are much cheaper for them to produce and ship because they can ship it concentrated, cut it with water at the final mile before they deliver it to the store. And it almost guarantees that you're going to over-soap. Most people don't realize this. It's real simple. Clean doesn't smell. If you put detergent in your washing machine and you wash your clothes, and when you're done and you pull them out of your washer, and you take a handful of that clothing and put it up to your nose and take a sniff, if it smells boutique fresh or whatever lavender scent that they put in the detergent, it's because there's still detergent in your clothing.
Shop with the experts. Nobody knows appliances like Michael's Appliance Center, 585 East Main Street, Middletown. Online at michaelsappliance.com.
We are back. Jake's Hot Takes. We're back. So
We're back.
It is now, I think actually 2 days ago to the day, we are 1 month removed from the Luka Doncic trade from Dallas to LA. What are your thoughts?
Well, I really think that Nico Harrison should be exiled to a dark, cold place for how he treated Luka Doncic. I mean, it really makes no sense. I mean, we talked about it extensively when the trade first happened, but he traded Luka Doncic for a 35-7, 8-year-old Anthony Davis, who was already injury prone, and citing the reasons for Luka's trade being because he's injury prone and concerns with conditioning. To have your tandem be Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving for the next couple years, and fast forward to today, Anthony Davis has played 30 minutes in the Lakers uniform, and Kyrie Irving just tore his ACL, so he's going to be out this year and probably a majority of next year. So this team looks terrible right now, and looking at how good the Lakers have been recently, it just makes no sense. It's mind-baffling.
Yeah, and not to mention the Mavericks are 5-5 in their last 10 games, with losses coming from Sacramento, Golden State, LA Lakers, Milwaukee, and another loss to Sacramento. Could you imagine losing to Sacramento twice within 10 games?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I could not imagine being a Mavs fan right now. The Mavs fan base are completely in shambles. They are just furious with the organization furious is really the only word that does it justice.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the Lakers, and the Lakers are 8-2 in their last 10 games. They've played themselves to being the 2 seed in the West. And J.J. Redick has also played himself into Coach of the Year talks.
LeBron is 5th on the MVP ladder.
Yeah. Do you think that J.J. Redick could be considered the Coach of the Year if this Lakers season continues on the trajectory it is?
Yeah, I think if they finish with the 2 seed, he's Coach of the Year.
You think so?
Yeah, this Lakers team had a lot of problems under Darvin Ham, and I understand that there were a lot of big roster shakeups with this team, but being able to navigate such a volatile and media-frenzied situation like the Luka Doncic trade, that puts a lot of pressure on a coach.
Yeah.
You got a 25-year-old, 4-time or 5-time All-NBA superstar on your hands, and you're putting him alongside the greatest basketball player of all time, you as the coach, you're under a lot of pressure. So I got to give my props to JJ, man. If the Lakers continue the season as hot as they look right now, I think he's a lock for Coach of the Year. It's exciting. Who would have thought hiring your podcast buddy as your coach would get the job done?
I don't think he's a lock for the Coach of the Year because I think that the Pistons coach, JV Bickerstaff, is definitely I think he should win it because this Pistons team was awful last year, and he's coached them to a respectable 35-27 record in the East. So we'll see how that goes. But back to the Lakers and the Mavs. What do you think of the recent success of the Lakers and the decline of the Mavs?
Okay, get ready for this one. All right, I'm going to lean into the mic when I tell you guys this hot take. Don't get fooled by the Lakers now. Don't get fooled by them.
Yeah.
This team, as fun and as exciting as they are now, they are not built to go all the way. They are not built to go all the way to a championship. I'm coming out right now and saying it officially. Jake McVey, on Jake's Hot Takes, I am doubting the Lakers. I don't think that they can win a chip. I think that this team is fun. I think it's a great spot for Luka. I think this year the rim protection issue is a big deal. I love Jackson Hayes. He is not going to be able to protect against the rim against a guy like Jokic. Mm-hmm. He's not going to be able to stop big body, muscular players from getting to the rim. And this team just doesn't have enough size to really compete. You know, they don't have a guy like our Mitchell Robinson who can just be a stout defender and really buckle it down. I know LeBron has been playing some pretty good defense these last couple games, but are we really going to be relying on a 40-year-old man? Or are the Lakers really going to be relying on a 40-year-old man to be the defensive anchor for their, potential chip-winning team?
Well, the thing is that I really disagree because the Lakers have played great defense ever since this trade, which is the most baffling part because that was really the big quell for the Lakers, how they would recover defensively. But their last 5 games, they let up 100 to the Hornets, 102 to Trailblazers, 100 to the Nuggets, 99 to the Mavericks, 102 to the Timberwolves, 102 to the Clippers. And these are all decent offenses that they're putting up against. And I think that until the playoffs, Luka will only get more comfortable in this system. And when we get to the playoffs, we have Luka, who just went to the finals last year, who just carried a team to the finals last year, and we have LeBron, one of the greatest playoff performers ever in the history of the sport. So I really think that they have a chance to go all the way this year.
Yeah, look. I understand what you're saying about the better defense, but let's not pretend like this is an all-star lineup of offenses that this team has been playing. Realistically, the only really dangerous offenses, offenses that you could expect to see in the later rounds of the playoffs are Minnesota and Denver.
Those are pretty
lost.
Important ones, too.
They are important ones, don't get me wrong, but I think until I see the Lakers play the Thunder and win convincingly, I'm not going to be convinced that this Lakers team can actually win. Everything is going to run through OKC. They are the big dogs. They are the big dogs right now. Mm-hmm. So until I see the Lakers go out and beat the Thunder convincingly, I am not convinced that this team is championship caliber.
It also depends on their seeding. The gap between the 5th seed and the 2nd seed is 1 game.
Yeah.
So
it's tight.
We're gonna see how this goes for the Lakers. They have to keep winning, but their success recently has made me believe that they're going to keep winning.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, whether they win or lose, I'm gonna keep watching.
Yeah.
So all right, now we're going to pivot to our grab bag real quick. We have one NBA story to talk about and then a couple small NFL stories, but we're going to go quick because we don't actually have a lot of time to talk about this. Real quick, the NBA's travel problem. Steve Kerr has been whining in a game against the Charlotte Hornets a few nights ago. LaMelo Ball obviously traveled, which, by the way, I watched the clip. Yeah, he obviously traveled. Anyone who's saying that's not a travel, get real. LaMelo obviously traveled while trying to establish a passing lane. The travel was not called. Kerr got upset and got a technical for slamming his papers down. And then Kerr said to the media after the fact, quote, "You know it's a problem when there are like hundreds of fans in the stands and every coach on the sideline when I'm watching film and everyone is signaling for it." And then he said, "Everyone is seeing it, so we are clearly not teaching as a league our officials to look at the feet." So Kerr claims to have sent an official complaint to the league office, and I think that he is whining.
I think he's whining too. But also, I think the officials can kind of ease up on giving him a technical foul.
Yeah.
Because it definitely doesn't help the situation.
Yeah, definitely not necessary. But
I don't think that traveling is as big of an issue. Just because it affected your team a couple of times doesn't mean that it's a huge issue that needs to be adjusted widely in the league.
And you know what? I understand, because there are a lot of missed travels nowadays. But I think if the refs are not going to call it for one team, they haven't been calling it for any teams. You know, Curry even says it itself. Everyone is seeing it. So what's the problem? If they're going to let Golden State get away with some travels, what's the problem with letting Charlotte get away with some travels?
Yeah.
You would never see Steve Kerr saying, "Oh, Steph just traveled on that play. Why didn't you call it?" So he clearly doesn't care about the integrity of the game or the travels being called. He's just mad that they're not getting called when they're against him.
Yep. Well, I guess we'll have to just see what comes of this. In other news, we have Deebo Samuel being traded to the Commanders for a 5th-round pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think this pushes the needle for Washington at all.
I think it does. Cliff Kingsbury loves to have a screen guy in his offense, so I really think this is going to do a lot for them. I really do.
I just don't think Deebo Samuel is a high enough impact player at this point.
Yeah.
There are lots of great screen options in the league that they do what they do well. They might not be great wide receivers. I don't know if Deebo falls into that boat. I know he's had some conditioning issues. There's just too much stuff going on around Deebo for me to really get excited about him being a new face in a new place.
Yeah, but I really just don't think that he's going to have a huge a huge role in this offense.
Probably not.
I think that's going to be fine.
What do you think about T. Higgins?
T. Higgins?
Franchise tagged once again.
I just wish they would pay him. Because the thing about the Bengals this year is it's not like they don't have the cap space.
Yeah.
They're just out of the top 10 in cap space. And they have 3 stars they need to pay. They need to pay Chase, they need to pay Higgins, and they need to pay Hendrickson. Mm-hmm. And they're going to pay Chase. Somehow, some way, they're going to pay Chase.
Always got to pay
The
Chase.
issue with the Bengals right now is that their owner is just broke.
Yeah. No money, no dough.
So
no
broke,
bread.
and they haven't won in the draft recently.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen is that there's no way they can sign all 3 of these stars. They are only going to sign 2, and I think they're going to end up signing Higgins and signing Chase because they're going to sign Chase.
So you think they're going to let Hendrickson
I think they're going
walk?
to let Hendrickson walk. But also, I feel for Higgins because it's not like he has a choice in this matter.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think they should just bite the bullet and pay him because he's obviously not going to be happy and he wants more guaranteed money.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I feel like the Bengals' strategy in this is to just give people contracts that don't have a ton of guaranteed money and just incentives because their owner is broke.
Yeah.
So that's what I think about that.
And then last thing, real quick, because as I'm sure you can hear, the music just started. Jets released Devontae Adams. New York Giant with Aaron Rodgers? Is that what's happening?
Devontae Adams is a future Chief.
Oh, get real. He wouldn't join the Chiefs. That Raiders hate is too real. Raiders don't like going to the Chiefs. For those who know, Chiefs don't like going to the Raiders. But anyway, when we get back, we are doing our mock draft of now that the Combine has wrapped up. We're talking a little bit of draft here. We're setting up the situation, setting the stage for you for the top 5 picks. So make sure you stick around when we get back.
Thinking about remodeling your kitchen or bath? Wayne's Way Wholesale Cabinets has a great selection of all wood cabinets in the styles and colors to make your remodeling dreams come to life. Go to wayneswaycabinets.com for more info. Wayne's Way Cabinets, 1829 South Road, Wappingers Falls. Call 845-280-0880. Stop by and talk to Wayne today. You'll be glad you did. CDS Auto and Truck Repair is your 5-star one-stop shop for all your vehicle's needs from A to Z offering full vehicle diagnostics. Towing is available, and they now offer fleet service. CDS Auto and Truck Repair. Call 845-563-9987. That's 845-563-9987. CDS Auto and Truck Repair, 2917 Route 9W, New Windsor.
Herring Septic wants your crap. Herring Septic loves taking crap from everybody. Herring Septic, they really don't give a crap what other septic companies say because they know they're full of crap. Herring Septic has been taking crap from everybody for the past 50 years. So why not let them take your crap? We'll take your crap. Herring Septic does it all. From residential, commercial, pumping, installing, and they even rent porta potties for those of you who give a crap. Visit herringseptic.com. That's herringseptic.com if you give a crap.
The Roma Deli, 237 Myers Corners Road, Wappingers Falls, is your neighborhood family-owned and operated deli, offering breakfast, lunch, and catering options. The Roma Deli has brought a little piece of the Bronx to Wappingers, including fresh-made sandwiches, Italian specialties, and desserts, all prepared and cooked in-house with authentic Italian ingredients. Their large menu provides lots of options to personalize your order to your taste. Vegan and vegetarian options available. The Roma Deli, offering catering that is perfect for any party or business function. Go to romadeli1.com or call 845-297-1200.
Michael's Appliances presents Ask Andy, the appliance expert. Andy, we've been talking about suds left over in the wash. What else should we know?
Soap companies do a great job of taking a wild guess at it, and they do a better job at marketing their product to make money. That's what they're doing. They'll tell you that liquids are better than powders. Liquids are much cheaper for them to produce and ship because they can ship it concentrated, cut it with water at the final mile before they deliver it to the store. And it almost guarantees that you're going to over soap. Most people don't realize this. It's real simple. Clean doesn't smell. If you put detergent in your washing machine and you wash your clothes, and when you're done and you pull them out of your washer, and you take a handful of that clothing and put it up to your nose and take a sniff, if it smells boutique fresh or whatever lavender scent that they put in the detergent, it's because there's still detergent in your clothing.
Shop with the experts. Nobody knows appliances like Michael's Appliance Center, 585 East Main Street, Middletown. Online at michaelsappliance.com.
Hello, all NFL draft fans. We are going through our top 5 picks for what we think the NFL Combine is going to look like. Now, keep in mind, me and Matt have collaborated on one list. I did a list where I made my dream scenario, he made a list where he made his dream scenario, and then we came together to predict what's actually going to happen.
Okay.
So,
yes.
I'm going to start off real quick. Just so you know, the top 5 teams in the draft order are currently Titans, Browns, Giants, Patriots, and Jaguars. I think the Titans are going to opt for drafting the best player in the draft as opposed to drafting for their needs. So I think Abdul Carter, you are a Tennessee Titan, the defensive end from Penn State. Then moving on, I think the Browns are going to draft for their need. I think they're going to pick up Miami quarterback Cam Ward. Moving right on to the Giants, I pray to God they do not draft Shedeur Sanders. I'm hoping they go with his teammate Travis Hunter, defensive back from Colorado. Moving on to the Patriots, you got to keep Drake May healthy. You got to keep him off his back. And who better to do that but the big man, Will Campbell, tackle out of LSU. Finally, the Jaguars. The Jaguars are kind of a weird team because they need everything. They need everything. But I think they're going to go for a little help on their defensive line. I think they're going for the defensive lineman from Texas Tech, Jahdae Barron. Very talented guy. Can definitely be the anchor for a run-stopping core in Jacksonville.
All right, we can see how that goes. Okay, so for my list, for my number 1 overall pick, I'm having the Giants, New York Giants, trade up with the Tennessee Titans to select quarterback Cam Ward.
Whoa.
They missed out on the Matt Stafford sweepstakes. They're pretty desperate for a quarterback.
Yeah.
I think it's hopefully going to be a minute until the Giants select in this high of a position. And I think this also works out for the Titans, as I will explain. But also at 2, I think the Browns will select Shedeur Sanders. They're also a quarterback desperate team. I also think they are going to do everything in their power to keep on the Myles Garrett. in the wake of his trade request.
So you don't think Miles is out of Cleveland this year?
I don't think he'll be out of Cleveland, and I think they're going to select Shedeur Sanders because A, Shedeur has really been talking like he is going to be a top pick in this draft, and B, I think Shedeur Sanders will be a good culture reset for the Browns. And then Titans at 3, because I traded with the Giants, I got him selecting Abdul Carter, the defensive end from Penn State. And so I think this is really the ideal situation for the Titans because they get extra draft capital and they still get their guy that they wanted at number 1 overall. So we'll see how that goes. Patriots then getting Travis Hunter. At this point, the Patriots are a pretty talentless football team, so to speak. So getting the best player in the draft at this point is their priority. And then Jaguars, Will Campbell, that offensive line sucks. So they need someone to protect Trevor Lawrence, who's had a pretty injury-plagued last couple years.
Yeah, I mean, you had Azeez Al-Shaair literally try and take his head off this year. Tackle wouldn't have really done him a lot of good in that scenario anyway, but, it's just the principle at this point that you got to protect your quarterback. And now me and Matt collaborated on this list to predict what's actually going to happen. What we just described to you is our dream scenario, what we think the best move for every team to do. This is what we think is actually going to happen.
Yeah.
With your first overall pick, the Titans sit right where they're at and select Miami quarterback Cam Ward. Matt, you want to do pick number 2?
Pick number 2 is the Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders to the Browns, like I mocked in my dream scenario.
Yeah, with those two guys, that's just the situation that I see most likely happening.
Yeah.
The Titans are in desperate need of a quarterback. The Browns are also in desperate need of a quarterback post, the worst professional sports trade of all time.
Yeah.
I think the Watson trade is actually even worse than the Mavericks-Luka trade.
I think it is the worst, especially considering the scenario around it and the money they paid him. It's without a doubt the worst.
Yeah, and they sunk all of their draft capital into that too.
Yeah.
The Texans have managed to rebuild into being a playoff-adjacent team at the very least.
Meanwhile, Baker Mayfield is having the best. He's becoming a franchise quarterback in Tampa Bay.
God, I could not imagine being a Cleveland Browns fan. That must be the worst.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And now Miles wants out, too.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Shedeur's teammate being picked right underneath. The Giants go and draft Travis Hunter. I think that they're going to end up using him as a defensive back. I do believe that is Travis's primary position, right? He was a defensive back before he was a wide receiver.
I also think that he could play both at the end of in the NFL.
Not in the NFL.
I really think he'll be able to play both. At least in some packages, they'll put him in both.
I'm sure they'll draw up like trick plays and scenarios and stuff where they can use Travis Hunter, but there really is such a mentality and physicality difference between college football and the NFL. I mean, these are not just some of the best football players, some of the best athletes on the entire planet. And they are incredibly intelligent at what they do. And trying to memorize a scenario for a wide receiver and a defensive back, it's so tough.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
I mean, Daboll's a smart guy, though. Daboll's a very smart coach, and it wouldn't surprise me if he actually found some interesting ways to use Travis Hunter. But, I mean, that Giants defense is just so bad, especially their secondary.
Yeah.
A lockdown defensive back like Travis Hunter will definitely be useful.
Yep, and so the Patriots, we have them taking Abdul Carter, defensive end from Penn State.
It's a tragedy.
It's kind of a tragedy he's falling this low on the board, but there's just a lot of talent in this draft, and then there's also a lot of quarterback-needy teams
a lot of
at
needs.
the top.
And, I mean, the last thing the Giants need is to draft another defensive end high in the draft. I mean, they've already got Kayvon Thibodeau. They got Brian Burns. They just don't need... Kayvon Thibodeau doesn't suck. He's just not...
He's just not impactful.
We thought he would be. That's exactly it. He doesn't suck. He does his job perfectly adequately, and he does not impact the game beyond that.
Yeah.
But anyway, with Abdul Carter going to the Patriots, I think the Jaguars, with the 5th pick in the draft, are going to bite on one of the goofiest picks, something that we might clown them for a while, and that is Boise State running back Ashton Genty. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Ashton Genty, but if he goes anywhere in the top 10, that team has automatically failed.
I think he'll definitely go in the top 15. I don't know. The Jaguars definitely have other needs other than running back, even though their running back situation is pretty bad. But I honestly wouldn't hate this fit for Ashton Genty or the Jaguars. Genty could definitely succeed in Jacksonville, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Genty's draft stock is being a little bit inflated. I mean, he did not play the highest caliber of competition last season. And even though what he did was absurd, don't get me wrong, he's not going to be the dominant force that he was last college season in the NFL. That's just the truth of it. You know, he's not going to be able to rely on his physicality to, you know, get him to the end zone like he did in college. He's going to need to be more agile, be more cerebral, be more intelligent. And Jacksonville is just so awful at developing talent. I feel like these two are a match made in a nightmare.
Yeah.
Where you have a very raw running back prospect going to a team that is notorious for taking talented players and throwing them right in the bin.
Yeah. I mean, the Jaguars have a new GM. They fired Trent Baalke after originally saying earlier in the season that they were going to keep him.
Yeah.
So hopefully he has a better vision for this team than Trent Baalke ever had.
They also got, what's his name, the new coach, Liam Cohen?
Liam Cohen, yeah, the Buccaneers offensive coordinator.
Duval.
We got a couple new couple new coaches in this top 10. We have the Patriots, Mike Vrabel, and that's it. Yeah, Jaguars.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's it. For some reason, I thought the Titans had a new coach.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Place your bets now. This is Jake's Hot Takes take on the top 5 picks in the draft. Anyway, that is going to do it. Thank you for listening very much. We appreciate your ears. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, Jake's Hot Takes WGNY, and make sure you stay tuned. Same place, different time, Sunday at noon. So make sure you're around for that. Again, thank you for listening. This has been Jake's Hot Takes on WGNY 1220 94.5 News Talk Sports. Thanks for listening.
Thinking about remodeling your kitchen or bath? Wayne's Way Wholesale Cabinets has a great selection of all wood cabinets in the styles and colors to make your remodeling dreams come to life. Go to wayneswaycabinets.com for more info. Wayne's Way Cabinets, 1829 South Road, Wappingers Falls. Call 845-280-0880. Stop by and talk to Wayne today. You'll be glad